All right, so this woman right here, her name, she goes by Dodash on the internet, and she is currently taking off. Her YouTube channel is leveling up very fast, and I wanted to put her on here and shout her out because when I watched this first video, I think this is the video that I saw 3 weeks ago, roughly. I think she might have had like 3K, 4K maybe, when I first discovered her. But I saw this video and it just connected with me, man. Everything she was saying, it was just like, ooh, I felt that. Ooh, I felt that. Right? I'm being a little dramatic for entertainment purposes, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, seriously, never going back to a 9-to-5 job. I hate it. Let's get into this video because I think some people that watch this channel need to see this. I know a lot of you guys are probably, some of you guys to a lot of you guys are probably feeling like never going back to a 9-to-5. So let's get into this, and maybe you'll start to see why this connected with me. Okay.
What's up, y'all? I want to share this because a lot of people come for us as delivery drivers. That's what I do. I do Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats. I do that full time. And I am 42 years old. I've worked McDonald's, I've worked warehouse, I've worked call center, I've worked in the hospital, 2 hospitals. I've worked in radiology. I've worked so many places. I've worked at a daycare. I've worked with kids. I have done volunteer work. I've worked at a video shop where they sell movies, stocking for them. I've worked so many places. And at 42 years old, this is what I have enjoyed the most. And I'm not saying that you would enjoy it. I don't know what you like. I don't know what you do. I've been in respiratory care school. I've worked as a respiratory care therapist for a little while. I've done all the things. And my ultimate is freedom. My ultimate thing to do is freedom. And that is what food delivery gives me, freedom. Okay? Number one, I'm just going to be raw. I'm going to be real. And I might hurt some feelings. But I'm just expressing how I feel and how many of you feel. Working with other people can be exhausting. I'm not saying I'm better than nobody else. But I literally got pulled to the side in respiratory therapy school when I was at work at a hospital. And I was told, you don't communicate enough with us. You're always to yourself. Let's talk about that. Probably because you're always gossiping, talking bad about your coworkers. One girl was like, behind one of the coworkers' back, she was like, such and such doesn't even know how to draw blood. She doesn't even know how to do this. She doesn't even know how to do that. But then you smile in her face. And then you wonder why I don't want nothing to do with you. You wonder why I stay to myself. And I'm not over here chit-chatting with all y'all. Because that's not my spirit. I'm not perfect. I'm not better than nobody. But I don't want to sit here and have a conversation about other coworkers in a bad, negative way.
Let me tell y'all, that right there, what she's saying, what she's talking about, is so true. I don't know, I may be I'm a little esoteric, okay? Spiritual, okay? So when we're talking about different personality types, you have some people that we feel drained. We feel drained when we go out into society and people are talking and all, you're talking about other people in a negative way, not in an uplifting way. Basically, you're draining us. We don't want to hear that, right? We don't want to hear, why is all this time and energy being spent talking in a negative way about someone else when we could be figuring out new ideas, new ways to help ourselves, to help each other, to help the communities, and instead we're spending a lot of negative energy talking about somebody. That's just not that's draining. And when you have to be at a place because that's how you pay your bills, that's how you live, you're forced into these situations where there's no other option but for you to be drained, because when Sally or when Johnny comes in, they're going to be talking about such and such again. Or they're possibly going to be talking about you behind your back. I think ultimately nobody really wants to be put in that situation. But some people thrive in it. Some people love it. Some people can't get enough of it. And if you're that type, I don't know if it's a personality type or if it's energy, or I don't know what decides that this person is different from that person in that particular way. But this right here, when she said this, I was like, hold up, let me rewind and listen, because I might have been halfway listening. Like, now you got my attention. Let's continue.
So yes, I stay to myself. I don't want to make friends with you. Now, what does the book say? The 38 laws of power or something like that? The 48 laws of power? It tells you to make friends and be fake. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. That is not right. Okay? Now, if I was coming up in the world trying to get somewhere, that makes sense. Yeah, befriend people. But that, at the end of the day, at 42 years old, what I have learned is if you scam people, befriend people, fake with people, they're going to eventually find out. And at the end of the day, you lose everything you gain from being that kind of person. So no, I don't want to conversate with you. Every single... Achoo!
All right, we're going to let this commercial go on. I should have got these commercials out the way. But yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be giving giving energy to fake people, because there's a lot of fake people that will use you for what they can and act like you don't exist. Unfortunately, it's happened to your boy. And it happens. But let's continue.
All they do is get in a huddle and talk about each other and have conversations about each other and talk about what so-and-so is doing and whose wife so-and-so is messing with and whose boyfriend so-and-so is with. I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to live my purpose on this earth and do things with my life. Make this money and get out of here and go do something purposeful. That is one of the reasons I don't want to work a job, is because everybody just gets in a huddle and talks. And then let's talk about potlucks. We have these potlucks, right? Everybody brings food. And the food sits on the table for hours and hours and hours, right? I ate at a potluck one time. I got deathly sick. Deathly sick, so sick I had to go to the emergency room. I was sick because I ate from a potluck. Because I ate the food, been sitting out there for hours and hours and hours. That's a problem. And then you got your bosses who calling you every working for a call center is one of the most annoying jobs, because you're on a quality system. You have to meet all of these metrics. And one job that I worked at was so terrible because they wanted you to stay on the phone with the customer for as long as possible, because they were charging $15 a minute just to keep the customer on the phone. They were charging this to the hospitals. So we were on this metric system, this quality control system, where they recorded your calls. And if you didn't ask these stupid questions just to keep them on the phone for a long time, you got a 0, or you got a 30%, or you did don't matter how great your customer service was. And I was top tier at customer service. I didn't bring my problems to work. I was always treating those customers. But because I did ask this specific question and say this specific statement, what did they call it? They called it not a rebuttal, but it was something that you had to say that took at least 30 seconds to say it. And if you didn't say it, you would get, and it made sense, but it was something about this is the physician you choose, and we have no control over if the physician didn't work out. It didn't even matter. They just wanted you to say it because it kept them on the phone for another 30 seconds. And I remember one time I got so frustrated because I was tired of keeping these people. These were sick people calling for a physician. These were pregnant mothers trying to sign up for a Lamaze class. I got so frustrated one time that I still had a good attitude, but when the person would call, I would just say, "What's your name? What is it that you need? Here's your physician. Goodbye." What's your name? What Lamaze class do you need? Here, you're signed up. Goodbye. I got a 0 for doing that, for pretty much doing my job. But I got a 0 because I did not verify the address. I did not verify the phone number. I did not say these long 30-second messages that I had to say to keep them on the phone longer. I got 3 zeros in a week. And they were like, "Well, you're on the verge of this and that." And then I had a manager. Y'all, I understand now that bosses have to do their job. And I am so grateful for one of my bosses because he literally looked me in the face and he said, "Why do you want to be here? Why are you here?" And at the time I was 24. I was a little frustrated and a little like, "Why are you asking me that question? Of course I want this job. Don't be coming for me like that." But at 42 years old, I can really respect that because he was asking me, then if you don't want to be here, why are you here? Pretty much he said that. If you don't want to be here, then why are you here? And I just looked at him like, "No, you ain't talking to me." But now I get it. But I couldn't stand them because it was like one boss brought me to the back and she talked to me and she was just like, "You know, you da, 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 da." And I understand they're doing their job, but don't come for me. You know this is BS. All this stuff is BS.
Okay, so basically, because there's some other points that she said she hits on further in the video, but basically what she, I don't know how many other scenarios she's gonna hit. I can probably fast forward here, but basically she's talking about when you're working at a job, you can be hitting the psychological stress of a job is not something that is probably until now talked about enough, only because it was fine when you were getting paid enough to live, right? We all usually have some sort of stress on the job, no matter what your job is, whether it's school teaching or whether you're doing construction, physical labor, you're doing something that's more mentally taxing. There's stress on the job. There just is. But it's not something that they tell you in high school, college. It is not really mentioned. You just learn that it is naturally, unless you're lucky and somebody tells you. But that's not factored into how much they pay you, number one, typically. And then you're dealing with all of that. And now, today, with inflation and all these things happening, you got to deal with all that, and you still can't get by, right? I think she gets into these things later, the money, the time. If you're going to work hard, it might as well be in something that you enjoy. There was someone that when I was, I think, just coming out of high school, getting ready to go to college, there was a older gentleman, I think it was a friend of my father's. He told me, he said, "Look, if you do what you love to do, you'll never have to work again. You'll never have to work again." And as soon as he said it, I kind of realized the truth of it, the validity of it. And so I went my own path, and I still went to work at, my first little job. And I was working at McDonald's, actually. That's another story for another time. But just know I learned fairly quickly that just because, when you work a job, number one, they don't tell you everything, like the stress that comes with it. And even though McDonald's isn't deemed a real job, there are everything about it, in my opinion, is real, right? You have to clock in, you have to clock out, you have to be when they say you have to be there. You're getting a check, although Back then, it wasn't enough for you to survive on your own. The only you didn't have health care or any of these other things, which is why I think they would say it was not a real job. But every other aspect I could relate to somebody in corporate. How is that not a real job? I feel like it's a real job, as far as the mental aspect of it goes. Maybe not my pocketbook, but to just scoot it off and say, well, you don't understand because you're not getting real money, that's not fair. And now people have real jobs and they're not getting real money, or they're not getting a bump up in their money. So she talks about some of these things in this video. I want to fast forward here and see if I can catch one of these other parts that she talks about. This looks like an area where there was a lot of replay.
And
so
this
maybe
girl
this is it.
who was over the scheduling, she was like, I just wanted to take off. Like, I want to take off of work. They made it such a problem every time I wanted to put in time off. Well, can you find somebody else to cover your shift? Like, what? She was like, it would behoove you to put your time in at least a week or two ahead of. I didn't even know what behoove meant. Like, girl, behoove this. Okay? Behoove these men. But it was always a problem wanting to take off of work, and you couldn't call out on Mondays because you would get 4 points on you. It's just that system, the work system is just not for me. It's not that I don't like to listen to people and follow people's rules and do what people tell me to do.
They've supported me
These
to be able
commercials,
to.
y'all. Oh my gosh. I think she's gonna get to the point to summarize this.
Debilitates you and tell me to do. It's just that whole system. It just debilitates you and keeps you from what it is you're really supposed to be doing with your life, your purpose, why you're here. Even being a YouTuber is even better than having a job. Focusing on that and growing your audience so people can, see your personality and glean from you and learn from you and just look forward to seeing you. Like, I really feel like God put us here, and he put YouTube here as a purpose to share your lives with other people, to elevate, uplift, and make them feel good by watching you. And in return, you make thousands of dollars a month. There are people who have YouTubes. All they do is share their life and record their life and record their children, record their family. They're not doing anything but just recording their life and being positive and showing, fun parts. And people.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there because I really want you guys to go over there and watch the entire video in its entirety, so that you can get grasp the full context of what she's saying. Because I'm skipping around here and it may not translate well, but I'm gonna try to summarize what she is, I think, in this video, because I've watched several videos from her at this point. And she's touched on several different topics about working a 9-to-5 that I really align with. So the world would be a better place if we all just did what we enjoy. Okay? Now, a lot of people, when I say this statement, they assume that I'm talking about what people typically deem as fun things. Like, maybe you assume, if you watch YouTube and you have never tried to do YouTube, you assume that this is fun, right? So I'm just a guy sitting on a microphone talking back and forth with the audience. That's fun. Grab a beer, get something to drink, kicking back, just lollygagging. No. This is work, okay? They assume I'm talking about this or dancing, doing a TikTok video or something. No, I'm not. I'm actually talking about anything and everything, right? Some people, they enjoy cutting grass, and I mean, they enjoy it. I know a woman that runs her own construction company. She enjoys it. Her eyes light up when she talks about building things, when she talks about getting contracts with the city. Anything. There's people that love the military. There's people that love being a doctor, being a lawyer. They love the law. They study it. They nerd out on whatever it is. There's a passion that's in each and every one. This is my true belief, that there's a passion in everyone. But because of society and because of societal pressures and belief systems and maybe family, we don't do what it is that we're supposed to do. We wind up going in a different direction, and out of fear, out of whatever, we do things just to, we got to generate money somehow. And I do understand that people need to make money initially. You're going to do something that you don't enjoy doing. I've done it. Everybody does it. And sometimes you have to do those things to figure out, what do I really enjoy? I don't know what I enjoy. You have to try different things till you figure it out. What are you passionate about? What do you spend your time, regardless of if somebody pays you or not? What do you spend most of your day doing? Can you monetize that? Is that a particular thing that a job exists around, right? These are questions that can easily be answered by something like ChatGPT or Google. It's not hard to figure out as much as it was back when I was coming up. But my point is that if everyone spent the time to figure out what it is they enjoy and do that thing and make that your career, the world would be a much better place. Because who would you rather have doctor on you? Somebody who went into the profession of being a doctor just because they heard they could get big bucks, or the guy that is a nerd about the healthcare industry and wants to know all the ins and outs of it? They want to know everything there is about the human body, everything there is about everything. They even learn other people's positions and jobs. That's how into it and nerd out you would want that guy, because he's going to go the extra mile because he enjoys it. Well, that applies to everything. You want the guy that's going to go the extra mile. The only way you're going to get that guy is if that guy is somebody who goes into it, that is a nerd for it, that enjoys it. That's his passion. That's what he was called to do. And each and every one of us has that in us. But we don't do it for the reasons I listed. So that's kind of what she talks about on her channel. I don't know if she hits all those points in this particular video, but do yourself a favor. Go over there if you want to be inspired, because she's inspired me. Okay. And DoDash, if you're watching this, you're doing your thing. Me and my wife, we watch you, and we appreciate the encouragement, and keep going, because people are listening. And I don't think that your channel would be growing as fast as it is if people were not. The comment section shows it. People are tired. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're tired of working a job that's not paying them enough. They're tired of working a job that's not appreciating them. They're tired of working a job, multiple jobs, and they can't hold it together. And they're missing time with their family. They're getting sick, like physically sick, because they're working so much. These are real situations and problems that, society will gaslight you into thinking don't exist. But that's a whole nother video, man. I'll check you guys out in the next video.